Look, I'm not saying we're going to see tropical development in our area for the week ahead, but there is something that you've got to see. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather, and it's great to see you on a late Friday here in early December. I hope you're doing well. Hey, coming up in this video, we'll talk about some of the active windy weather we've had in our area, talk about some cooler, drier air, and then discuss some spit in the atmosphere and how that could be coming a little bit closer to our area for the week ahead. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what's been happening in your area, what the weather has been like. This is the visible satellite imagery on this late Friday. Of course, we get to the early part of December here. Sun sets earlier, so this visible satellite imagery kind of goes away a little bit earlier in the day. But I just wanted to show you some of the cloud coverage across the area here. You can see there's a little shear axis over Cuba and the Turks and the Caicos. We've had some heavier rain back into portions of Central America. Temperatures on the board for you right now, mainly in the 70s to 80s in Fahrenheit. You do get to a couple of 90-degree spots Fahrenheit here and there. Again, 80 degrees Fahrenheit is 27 degrees Celsius, so you can kind of make the equation in your area. This is what it looks like on the surface analysis. So we have yet another cold front pushing through the northern Gulf of Mexico, extending right back over towards Bermuda at the hour. Area of high pressure keeping everything high and dry but windy over portions of the southern Bahamas there. It's a little bit lighter winds when you get up towards Freeport, Lucaya, and Nassau. There's that trough, that shear axis that I mentioned. We've seen some showers and some storms develop along that for today. Some heavier rain in portions of western Caribbean, and on the eastern side of the area we've just had some gusty winds and some passing showers. So let me show you what it looks like here. I'm going to take this visible satellite imagery, just pause it for a quick second and bring it back to where we can kind of clearly see it here. A few features I want to talk about, and then I'm going to bring on the wind gusts as well. So the first thing is we'll start off in the eastern side of our area right now. We continue to see some passing showers over places like Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Look, this rain is not going to add up to much, and even across the islands, there'll be many dry hours and locations, but a pretty darn fresh breeze there. In the Bridgetown area of Barbados, they had an east wind gusting up to 31 miles an hour this afternoon. Dominica had a 24-mile-an-hour wind gust there. And again, passing showers, little feature coming through the eastern Caribbean. You can see that right now. That's going to kick up the sea conditions and also provide the opportunity for a few showers as it moves off towards the west. It's been drier today as you get back into the northern side of the Lesser Antilles, into the Leeward Islands. If I switch over to our water vapor imagery, you can see that we're red here. This is drier air entrenched over this area. So not a lot of rain for today in these spots. Again, a couple of passing showers are absolutely possible as this kind of axis of moisture swings into the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John, and Anegada, and Virgin Gorda, Roadtown, Tortola areas, and then on over towards Puerto Rico as well. We've had a couple of showers here and there, southwest side of the island towards the Alco area there, but again, not a lot of heavier rain. One area that continues to see some persistent showers and the opportunity actually for at least the low-end chance for some flooding rains is actually the northern sides of the Dominican Republic. We still have some advisories out for that area for some rain that continues to develop there. You don't really see it much on the enhanced satellite imagery here. Again, the thicker moisture is a little bit to the north and to the west, but still today we've had some spots right along the coastline. I'm talking about from the Puerto Plata area back towards the Samana Peninsula where we've had some spotty, heavier showers. It hasn't been extremely widespread. You can see that here on the visible satellite imagery, very localized. You see those clouds just kind of developing right over the island. That's what I'm seeing for today. So the heavier cloud coverage back over the southeastern sides of Cuba as well. We've had some cloud coverage today from our friends in Jamaica. Hasn't led to a lot of rain across the island. If you've caught a shower here, let me know in the comments section below. It's kicked up the sea conditions for coastal areas of Jamaica, so keep an eye out for that if you're a boater or a fisherman in these spots. And again, you can see some localized cloud coverage developing there. We'll switch back over to the enhanced satellite imagery. And again, not a ton of moisture in play, but could Kingston catch a brief shower later? Absolutely. The best chance for rain is going to continue to be in Central America. Again, we still have this broad area of moisture lifting north. So especially for Nicaragua and Honduras, into the northern sides of Honduras and the Bay Islands, Utila, Roatan, Guanaja, coastal sections of Belize and Guatemala, especially southern Belize. These are the spots with the best chance for rain over the next 24 to 48 hours here over the weekend. Again, when I switch back over to the water vapor imagery, it's just kind of this tongue of moisture, if you will, and that moisture is streaming back north and east, which is why some of that has come back over Cuba, Southeast Bahamas, and the Turks, the Caicos. But you can almost see this nice little flare up of moisture back over Panama right now. We actually have some coming from the Pacific Ocean, going over Panama and getting back into the southwest sides of the Caribbean. And it's been a breezy, relatively dry day for my friends in the ABC Islands, but as far as the dry weather goes, that could actually change. Friends, let's get into the forecast as we do so. I appreciate you guys sticking with me here at Meteo Mundo. If you want to give me a quick payback, thanks for taking a quick second, liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you're not a subscriber as of yet. We're on our way to 50,000 subscribers. I would love to get there soon, and we need your support to do that. Thank you for finding ways to, of course, support me here at the channel as well. Okay, so now we're going to get into some interesting aspects of the week ahead. And yes, we're going to be talking about what could be happening, quote unquote, tropically. Now, this time of the year, it's very rare that we get true tropical systems to develop, but hybrid or subtropical systems are still a possibility. So I'm going to bring up the GFS model to begin with here, and I'm going to show you a couple different things, and I'm going to show you some of the European models as well. Again, what we want to look for here is what's going to be happening into the central sides of the Atlantic. Now, this time of the year, water temperatures are cooling down, especially the farther north in latitude that you go. You got the cold fronts coming off of the eastern coast of the United States that brings some inherent spin and some moisture coming off the coast. And there's the opportunity when you get these mid-level spins to encounter some more low-level moisture here and to start to see some development along these fronts as the fronts slow and stall as they get a little bit farther into the central Atlantic. And you can see this very broad spin here on the GFS. It doesn't really wrap up significantly and it starts to get absorbed by that cold front, but these are the kinds of things that we can see. Now, the European model is going to try and develop this a little bit farther south and west, which is why I'm talking about it in this video. If we were just looking at the GFS and this was out in no man's land, and even if this spun up to a subtropical system and it was just a fish storm, it would really be not that big of a deal. They're relatively common here in early December, but there's a little bit of a difference on the European model that I'll show you. But I wanted to kind of set the stage for what you're going to see. Now, this is still the GFS model. It's the same model I just showed you. You saw the reflectivity and the moisture. This is the vorticity or the spin as a composite in the low levels of the atmosphere. And it's actually very clear to see, first of all, a couple. You've got this broader spin coming into the central Atlantic, beginning to interact with a cold front coming over Bermuda. And you can see here, and I'm going to stop this for a second. I mean, it's very, very clear to see that spin. Now, this could bring a lot of wind and maybe some rain to the northern side of the Lesser Antilles, to maybe Puerto Rico and the British and U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas, all right? We'll see how this feature plays out, but more than likely this is going to be a mid-level feature rather than a low-level feature, but it could kick up some more active weather in this area. That's one, and then you saw the tail end, a much more pronounced, smaller area, but you see those brighter colors? That's more lift, okay? And higher vorticity right there at that center. It's a very interesting little feature to see. It's a small little thing, small little potential storm, still well to the north and to the east of the Lesser Antilles, but this is what we look for here. And again, this takes us out until the 16th of December. So what, today is the 6th. So, you know, we're only going out 10 days. It's not right around the corner, but we're also not like we're looking towards the end of the month either. This is basically within 6 to 10 days, you start to see a little bit more perturbations and a little bit more spin ups here. So that's what it looks like on the GFS. Now, the ensemble members of the GFS really don't show any surface-based low pressure areas, okay? But that's not the case on the European ensemble, okay? So this is the European ensemble through the same time frame. You're going to see it starts right where the GFS had it, but look what it does. It develops a low-level center and a pretty darn strong low-level center much closer to the Lesser Antilles by next Saturday. Okay, now again, would this be a true tropical system? Probably not, The ocean temperatures in the Atlantic are cooler. It's the Caribbean that would really support still, yes, even in the first week of December, still true tropical development. So I'm not expecting this to wrap up. But remember, subtropical systems would get names, hybrid systems would get names, and they bring a lot of wind, right? So this could be a wind maker wherever it goes. Notice though that you start to have these mid-latitude storms coming off the east coast of the United States, so it doesn't go much farther west until it gets picked up by southwest winds at the surface ahead of that next cold front, and it gets pushed a little bit to the north. But if I snapshot this, so this is the same thing, but I just took a still. This is next Saturday afternoon, and here you go. And I want to be clear, this is sea level. Okay, so this is not like, oh, there's a mid-level rotation. The European model really is trying to paint on a low-level center of circulation, and you notice that it does get a lot closer to the Lesser Antilles and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands compared to the GFS model. It bears watching. It's as simple as that, guys. Again, we're out of hurricane season, and you're not sitting here, throwing up the flag saying we got to really watch this thing. But, is there an opportunity that we get some kind of a subtropical spin up to occur and get relatively close to our area by next weekend? European model says so. So I'm going to be watching it for you guys. Now, one thing that has really kicked up, and it does this time of the year, are surf and sea conditions. So this is the broad look at our area with the wave heights and wind directions. Still going to get some fresh winds in the central and the western sides of the Caribbean. As we go over the next few days, we're going to have another cold front coming in, which is going to really elevate it. By the way, the Bahamas, I feel like, are just going to stay in this near gale watch for the upcoming weeks. Who knows? Because as one cold front swings through, a second one comes back. You'll see that here late in that period. And again, could have some stronger winds driving back to the Lesser Antilles. This is a close-up shot of the Bahamas of the same thing. And again, you look at your wave heights at the bottom of your screen in feet, right? And you can look at the wind direction in arrows. And it's not the wind direction. Let me rephrase that. It's the wave direction. Where are the waves coming from? So they're coming out of the northeast to east. That means we're going to have some long period easterly swells for the eastern side of the Bahamas. So watch out for the exposed waters on the Atlantic side. You get into some sheltered locations here. Things are looking a little bit better, especially in the north and the northwest side. For the greater Antilles, so now we're looking at Dominican Republic and Haiti. Here's our friends in Jamaica and the eastern Cuba, southeast Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. You can see again, especially on the northern sides. Now, we've had a lot of small craft advisories for the northern sides of these islands that I'm mentioning right now, but this is also going to try and put some moisture back into play. So again, the opportunity for more heavy rain in some of the spots that have seen that. Speaking of that, let's take a look at your island by island rainfall forecast. So we'll go back over to the GFS. I'm going to take this back down to just a couple of days, and then we'll look at the island by island rain. Now look, I'm still most concerned as far as any heavier rain in the coming days for our friends in Central America, okay? There's gonna be other spots that could have some active weather, but probably we're gonna be looking at places like Honduras and Nicaragua, maybe Guatemala and far southern Belize for some potential for excessive rain. Again, you notice that as I take you through Monday, this swath of moisture doesn't move much. So it's northern coastline, it's San Pedro Sula and La Ceiba and Utila and Roatan, Guanaja, maybe towards Punta Gorda and the coastal areas of Guatemala, maybe as far north as Belize City, but it gets spottier quickly because the air dries out so fast. So for most of Quintana Roo, look, I'm not expecting a ton of rain, especially Tulum north, right? You get back Chetumal area, there could be a few heavier showers there. Same thing for San Pedro and Orange Walk and San Ignacio there in Belize. But let's get a little bit farther south into Honduras and Nicaragua. That's the best chance for heavier rain. And by the way, there is a flood advisory for Costa Rica right now. So Costa Rica could also pick up some excessive rainfall. We're talking about, could be some areas well over 100 millimeters or 4 inches of rain. And I'll show you some of the rainfall potential forecasts coming up. Now, we're gonna have some spotty showers overall in the Western Caribbean the next few days. The rain chances aren't extremely high for Kingston and Portmore and Spanish Town and Montego Bay and Savlamar and Lucy and Negril. But for my friends in Jamaica, a little bit more cloud coverage, a little bit of rain. I think most folks have been enjoying some of the more tranquil weather and certainly some of the cooler and drier weather as well to help knock out some of the humidity. Little Cayman, Brac, Grand Cayman, 20% chance for a shower the next few days. But again, a little bit of moisture in play. It's not a completely dry forecast there. Central northwest sides of Cuba should be mainly dry. Same thing for my friends in the central and the northwest Bahamas. Look for Nassau and the Abacos and Eleuthera and Walker's Key and Grand Bahama. Can't rule out a quick shower as a weak front slips into the area, but the moisture will be more concentrated southeast Bahamas, especially the Turks, the Caicos, and as I've mentioned, the northern sides of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, from the Samana Peninsula there towards Puerto Plata, maybe inland towards Santiago de los Caballeros. The opportunity for some heavier rain. This is a little bit more concentrated here. Spotty showers will continue to develop in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Look, rain chances here will actually still be relatively high the next few days. It's not a ton on the GFS model, so we may not be talking about excessive rainfall amounts, but a 40, 50, and even 60% chance for showers for places like San Juan and Ponce and Aguadilla and Humacao, all out there. Same situation for the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, slightly better chance the farther north and the Lesser Antilles that you go. So Antigua and Barbuda and St. Martin and St. Bart's and Anguilla, better chance for some rain compared to Dominica and Martinique. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat will be included in that. I'm expecting isolated showers in Barbados and Martinique and St. Lucia, and then scattered rain for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago. Now, the ABC Islands. Look, let's take a look at this. All right, I'm going to pause this real quick. As we get into tomorrow, look at this moisture beginning to return. Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao got a 40% chance for the area for tomorrow. And I hope we stay around a 40% chance for Sunday as well. Again, is it going to be extremely concentrated? No, but we've got that opportunity, and it dries out a little bit as we get into our Monday. I'm going to hope my computer doesn't crash when I do that, and it doesn't. Thank goodness. Okay, the last thing I want to show you here before we get to the island by island rainfall is just to look at the winds in general. I'm just going to loop this up over the next couple of days. Once again, this time of the year, we typically have our easterlies beginning to kick back in, but just to show you that when you see purples and pinks, those are winds of over 20 miles an hour. These aren't gusts. These are your sustained winds. We're going to have a really fresh northeast wind in a lot of the greater Antilles, and a lot of the Caribbean will stay with a strong easterly as well. Kingston and Port Antonio, and especially the northern coastline of Jamaica, you guys are really feeling those northeast winds. You let me know in the comments section below how that's going. Same thing for our friends in the Cayman Islands. A little bit weaker winds, but still some blustery conditions possible and some high sea conditions for a lot of the Lesser Antilles. Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados will be included in that. Strong north winds continue to make it nice and cool up here in Bermuda. So here we go. Again, low chance for rain. Northwest Bahamas, central and southeast is a 20% chance. Turks and Caicos, a couple of slightly better chances for rain with some spottier showers there. Cuba, eastern side, a 30% chance for showers. Not a lot of rain for the Cayman Islands over the weekend, maybe a 30% chance on Monday. Again, it's Belize City with some of the highest rain chances, especially coastal Honduras, then a 40% chance Sunday, Monday. Cancun and Cozumel, too far north, you're mainly dry. Jamaica's rain chance tomorrow is 30%, then 20 on Sunday, Monday. Dominican Republic, it is still area dependent. Santo Domingo, Punta Cana, not going to have as good of a chance of rain as the northern coastline of Haiti and the Dominican Republic as well. So even like Lacaille there on the Haiti Peninsula will be drier, but overall 40 to a 50% chance. There you go. Puerto Rico, U.S. and British Virgin Islands, 40, 50, then a 60% chance on Monday. Some of the best moisture still pooling in this area for the next few days. Bermuda's rain chances are isolated at best. Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, St. Eustatius, all included in this. Will be somewhere around a 30 to 40% chance. Same thing for Antigua and Barbuda and Montserrat. Slightly lower Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, and then even drier St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. I'm not have one area fully dry because I can't rule out a couple of passing showers, but the rain chance is lower. Barbados, a 30% chance tomorrow, 20 Sunday, Monday. Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, about a 30% chance the next few days. Suriname, a 40% chance tomorrow, then a 30% chance on Sunday, and Guyana's right around the same mark. Nueva Esparta, isolated showers at best, and there's your better chance for rain towards the ABC Islands on Saturday and on Sunday. So looking at European rainfall totals, again, a couple of areas to point out. You can see the growing rain developing along the Caribbean coastline of Central America. And when you see those reds, you're 3, 4, even up to 6+ inches of rain. That's more than 150 millimeters. You see that swath of moisture back over Jamaica, especially on the northern coastline, Cuba and Turks and Caicos, another area that could have a few inches of rain there. And again, some of the windward spots here of some of the islands in the Lesser Antilles could also see some pockets of heavier rain to go along with it. This is that was the European model, by the way. So this is the GFS model over the next 5 days, and it's about the same situation. Again, just like we had in the last video that I did, you're going to see some spots here near San Pedro Sula, La Ceiba areas, which again could be very healthy. I mean, you're looking at the GFS model trying to paint on nearly 10 inches of rain in a couple of spots, nearly 250 millimeters of rain in just the next 5 days. So I don't want to understate some of the potential heavier rain that is going to be happening here. And again, if you live in these spots, let me know in the comments section below. Guanaja and Roatan, probably right around 2.5, Utila around 4. And you notice that, again, it's a pretty sharp cutoff the farther north that you go. It doesn't take long to start to see that rain really fall apart. So Dangriga north to Belize City, maybe only about an inch of rain, but you follow the coastline of Honduras and then back down into portions of Costa Rica and maybe just offshore. That's where they have the extremely heavy rain there. Now, the GFS model is just like the European, and it's trying to bring on a couple of inches of rain here on the eastern sides and especially the northeast sides of Jamaica, while keeping the rest of the island, relatively dry, but just this little concentration of heavier rain near Port Antonio and Fair Prospect. So keep that in mind. Expecting just a couple of isolated showers of the Cayman Islands. And again, this moisture streams north and east over portions of southeast Cuba, right into the Turks, the Caicos there, towards Grand Turk, and the Caicos itself, right around an inch of rain in a couple of spots. And again, the northern sides of Hispaniola, northern sides of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. You've got yourself 2+ inches of rain in the next few days in a couple of spots, and then still scattered rain. Again, as the easterlies come in, our best chance for some heavier rain will be in the eastern sides of Puerto Rico, and again, spottier rain for St. Thomas and St. Croix, but Vieques and Culebra and Fajardo, all solid, right? And there's your isolated rain here. And then the GFS actually favors a little bit areas to the south. It's a little bit different than what the European model has, but it does favor some of the Windward Island areas to get a little bit higher. Now, again, is this going to be concentrated? No. But for early December, that's not some bad moisture content in the atmosphere. Friends, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking around. You have a specific question about the forecast, you can always ask it in the comments section below. Happy to answer that. You can also follow us across all social media. How about Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook? You want to send me a picture or video to help tell the story in your area? It's mymediamundo@gmail.com. Just remember to put your name on that picture, where it was taken. You want to give me a date. That always helps out as well. Friends, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. I'm back soon with the latest forecast in your area. Until then, you take care, and I will see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.